Local programming on KRWG Public Media made possible in part by viewers like you. Thank you.
Hello and welcome to Fronteras, a Changing America. I'm Anthony Murno. Today we learn more about a private, not-for-profit organization in El Paso with a mission of promoting science, technology, engineering, arts, and math education through various learning experiences throughout our borderland region. Joining us to share more is Meghan Parks, Executive Director of Insights. Meghan, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Anthony. Thank you for having me on the show.
Let's start off by learning a little bit about your organization. Can you share history and mission of Insights, please?
Sure. Insights was founded all the way back in 1979 to provide interactive, hands-on science learning experiences for the entire border region. As some of our viewers may remember, it initially started out all the way back in the basement of the El Paso Electric Building in downtown El Paso. With the support of the Junior League and a number of other community supporters, the project eventually grew and obtained enough funding to build a museum in downtown El Paso, where it stood for a number of decades. It was a full, large, circuit-shaped science center and museum in downtown El Paso, where the current baseball stadium is now located.
Okay, so can you share with us a little bit about your mission? What is really the focus of the work that you do?
Absolutely. So Insights, I think as many of you may know, we no longer have the physical science center in downtown El Paso. In 2017, following the demolition of the museum, the board of Insights did a lot of community focus groups, outreach discussions, really just talking to the community and especially teachers within the community about what we should do next. We no longer had a physical building that was going to allow us to serve our mission. And so we wanted to know what does the community need? What makes sense? Should we liquidate our assets and completely close up? Or should we refocus and come up with a new idea for how to serve our community? And so through those conversations, there was an idea that really centrally emerged, which was, why not come to us? Why not completely pivot Insights El Paso Science Center into a mobile and 100% outreach organization? And so that seemed to make a lot of sense. There was a huge need for it, and that was something we could do as an organization. And so in 2017, the board of directors liquidated all of the large exhibits that we could not make mobile. They were given back to original donors. They were given to community members. Some of them were sold. And we focused on creating a mobile outreach organization. And so that's what we started in 2017, and that's what we've been after and pursuing for the last 5 years. And although our format has changed, we're no longer a brick and mortar science center, the mission has not changed. We are still here to provide interactive, fun, and meaningful STEAM, science, technology, engineering, art, and math learning experiences for the whole community.
Now there are some STEM organizations, but you're a STEAM organization. So can you share with us a little bit about how arts are implemented in the work that you do?
Sure. I mean, just think about, when you were a student in elementary school or high school or college, how much fun did you have in art class? How disappointed were you when you had to leave that art class and a lot of the projects and concepts that you were working on didn't translate to the rest of your programming? Art is a fantastic way for students to connect with broader STEM topics. It brings in a lot of creative energy to STEAM topics. It opens up additional careers. I think for students and parents especially, that they may not have considered to be a STEAM topic or experience. The STEM world and the STEM career path is not just white lab coat wearing doctors and engineers and physicists. It is publicists, it is graphic designers, it is web designers, it is a whole range of different careers that contribute to STEM and STEAM learning ecosystems. And so I think the arts are a really powerful tool to help students better connect with STEM, bring in some creative ideas, and broaden some of the career perspectives.
Okay, so share with us a little bit about the mobile museum. What are some things that folks can expect to see when the mobile museum pulls up to their school or their neighborhood?
Sure. So, as a now 100% mobile science education organization, we have formed a wide variety of different outreach programs throughout the community. We are actively taking miniature exhibits and experiences to schools, community centers, to the shopping mall, to monster truck rallies, to guided hikes, and creating on-site place-based learning experiences with our mobile museum format. So that might be a 3-week-long summer camp that we're hosting in partnership with local school districts. That could be a pop-up museum exhibit that we're taking to a community event where we would have miniature exhibits and hands-on activities for kids and families to interact with while they are maybe visiting Waco Tanks for the first time at the interpretive fair, or even just out on a Saturday shopping trip at the local mall. So we would have our whole pop-up tent and museum exhibit set up at that capacity. It could be an in-class workshop that we are offering, again, with a local school district or at a boys and girls, after-school program. It could be a virtual workshop. We're providing our mobile museum services in a variety of contexts.
So what sort of summer programs do you have in store for folks in the region?
Oh, a ton. Our staff is very, very, very busy, probably busier than we have been really in the past 4 years, getting ready for a ton of summer programming. I don't have an exact count, but I believe we are going to be providing summer programming in different contexts for over 2,500 kids this summer.
Wow.
So we have camps available at UTEP, the University of Texas, El Paso, here in downtown El Paso, where individuals from the community can enroll their students in some of the P3 summer camps, where we've actually partnered with P3 to offer our STEM summer camps on campus at UTEP. We have camps available for all of the middle schools in the Clint Independent School District. We are partnering with the Isleta Independent School District to provide training and supplies and materials for a number of their different teachers on all of their middle school campuses. And we are also partnering with the Gadsden Independent School District and NMSU to offer some new and fun STEAM art activities and workshops in some of their school district summer camps at Gadsden, as well as a whole new climate change set of workshops related to geologic history and our Dinotrax site.
Now there's a lot of concern about climate change right now, of course, for various reasons. What sort of things are you implementing so folks can learn about what's happening with our climate?
Sure. We address climate change on a number of different levels, probably first and foremost with our environmental education programming. So our environmental education manager, Dr. Jennifer Ramos Chavez, is operating, I believe, 3 or 4 different programs currently in local high schools that allow students to not only address, concepts in climate change, but to also get their hands dirty and design and build and implement several different restoration projects at local kind of sensitive area ecosystems, as well as get involved with field trips and additional workshops to learn more about our sensitive desert ecosystem and some of the threats related to climate change. And then the new program I mentioned earlier for Gadsden Independent School District, it's brand new, so I can't tell you too much about it. We haven't implemented it yet, but we are designing curriculum that is going to provide additional information and context for students to think about climate change through a new perspective, through a perspective that is going to emphasize change over millions of years and how that relates to geology and the geologic record. And that is going to link back and be woven into some field trips for students to our Dinotrax site. And if you don't know, our Dinotrax site is located at the base of Mount Cristo Rey. It's a couple of 100 acres that was donated to Insights back in, I believe, 2005, when fossilized dinosaur footprints were discovered on the site.
Very exciting. Can you share a little bit about what folks can expect or experience when they go out to the Dinotrax Tour?
Sure. Tours have traditionally been provided by our Dinotrax guides. These are trained guides that are here to guide hikers and groups through our entire 1.5-mile loop hike at the Dinotrax site. And we do still offer guided tours for groups and class field trips through our regular guided program. But we actually have a whole new program that just launched this April that now allows families, individuals, groups, or students to download an app from either the Android or the iTunes store. They can download this app. They will be emailed directions for how to get to the Dinotrax site, reminders for sunscreen, water, things like that to make sure they have a safe hike. And then once they arrive at the Dinotrax site, which is about 10 minutes from downtown El Paso, they'll be able to scan QR codes at the 10 different educational stops along our 1.5-mile-long loop tour that will allow them to learn about the dinosaur footprints, learn about some of the aquatic fossils that are on the site, some of the modern history artifacts, as well as some of the geology teaching sites. So there will be audio that plays in either English or Spanish for the visitors. And one of the exciting new aspects of this app that's actually a pretty novel concept, we worked with a local group called Boost Human to build into the app a lot of augmented reality features. So you can now hold up your smartphone to the landscape, look at the rocks, and in augmented reality, the app will actually outline the dinosaur footprints in the rocks so you can better see them and identify them. The app also shows augmented reality dinosaurs, so you can see what the track maker actually looked like, and then it guides you through some prehistoric, really cool 360-degree panoramas of some of those 98-million-year-old ecosystems, so you can actually see and explore what it might have looked like when Sunland Park, New Mexico was a dinosaur beach.
Wow, that sounds fascinating. Your organization also has some grant-funded programs. Can you share with us a little bit about the after-school program that has to do with learning computer science?
Sure. I'm sorry, which program were you referring to? We do a few different
with
after-school
Microsoft,
programs.
I believe. You're working with Microsoft as well, with some support from Microsoft so students can build digital skills. TechSpark, and there's Technovation available for families.
Yes. Prior to the pandemic, we did work with Technovation and Microsoft to create after-school computer science programs for students in the Clint Independent School District, as well as students at IDEA Public Schools. Those programs were really neat. Students were doing hands-on activities, building robots and models to learn about artificial intelligence and how it actually works. How does parallel processing work? They didn't just watch a video about it. They actually built physical models to see how information can be sorted by computers. And they built artificial intelligence models to actually solve a problem in their community as a part of that program. Those programs did end. As you mentioned, they were grant funded. They ended before the pandemic, but the curriculum that was created and used in those programs, we do currently use and will continue to use in our after-school programs, as well as other workshops that we offer for the community.
Okay, now you also mentioned that you have some workshops available in coordination with UTEP. What are some of those things that you work along with UTEP to provide for the community with learning opportunities?
We partner with UTEP in a variety of different ways. Probably first and foremost, we frequently partner with researchers at UTEP to take some of their novel research and infuse it into our existing outreach programs. There are lots and lots of professors at UTEP that receive federal funding to expand their research, and most of that federal funding also comes with an emphasis for sharing that research with the broader community. And that's where we come in. We specialize in outreach. That is our bread and butter. We have a variety of different outreach programs, everywhere from adult education down to first and second grade education. And so we'll partner with different researchers in environmental labs, in engineering labs, to take that that concept and that research and build it into a curriculum that's appropriate for students with fun, hands-on activities. And ideally, we also work to train some of their undergraduate students to implement that curriculum alongside our master educators. So that's been a really fun relationship to take some of that exciting and novel research that's being generated right here in the border region and find ways for students to better connect with that research. And then we are also partnering with the UTEP P3 program to just directly offer some of our summer camps at UTEP this summer. We'll be offering 12 different camps.
Now, how can folks learn more about these learning opportunities that you have within the community?
The simplest way to learn about what we are doing is to visit our website, insightselpaso.org, and join our newsletter. We send out a newsletter at least once a month, sometimes twice a month, with all of our different workshops, programs, pop-up museums, and also our Nerd Night events, which are generally for adults in bars and restaurants.
Okay, let's learn about that. You got to share more about Nerd Nights with us.
Nerd Nights are really fun. That's probably one of my favorite programs. That's one of the very first programs we created as a mobile museum. We take novel concepts or interesting concepts in science. We make sure that those concepts are connected to relevant issues within our community, the humanities, sometimes art, whatever our nerds are interested in. And we will create a whole 2-hour-long program with talks and sometimes some hands-on activities, sometimes panel discussions or debates. And we'll set those up in different venues throughout the community. A lot of times, bars and restaurants have been great places to host these events. They're fun, they're interactive. Folks can get out on a Thursday or a Friday night, visit a new establishment and learn something new. The topics have been all over the place. We've covered everything from beer brewing chemistry to the physics of cycling, all the way to community planning and urban development.
Wow, it sounds very exciting. The El Paso Space Festival is returning this year. You all have done some work with that, is that correct? If so, can you kind of share with us a little bit about how you're involved with that?
Yes, we've been hosting the El Paso Space Festival all the way really since 2018. We partner with a wide variety of community organizations, from Boy Scout troops to the Elks Lodge to businesses like the Sunland Park Mall to Alamo Draft House to all of our wonderful space education providers throughout the community to Virgin Galactic, to bring a whole week of space education to the border region. So it started out as just one day festival back in 2018. It really, even before that, was just an idea of, hey, we've got all these great space education activities. Let's get some kids together and create a one-day event. We did that, and we sold out the tickets for that small event in about 24 to 48 hours.
Wow.
And realized there was a huge demand in El Paso for more fun, family-oriented space education programming. And so that's what we've been building ever since, with the brief hiatus, of course, during the pandemic, to create this whole week-long celebration of space adventure and education in the border region. And that is returning in 2022 in late September. There is more information about this upcoming space festival on our website. It will be a whole week of activities with everything from rocket launches to space extravaganza with lots of hands-on activities for families.
Sounds very exciting. According to your website, that's September 17th through the 24th of this year, I believe. And a focus is going to be on the moon. Very fun time and fascinating time to be focused on the moon when there's so much talk about space exploration and returning to the moon.
Absolutely. That is why we focused this year's theme on returning to the moon. There's a lot of exciting things happening with NASA, and then also both within private space industry as well. What's happening here in West Texas with private space industry and the growth of that industry in the last 5 to 10 years is the whole reason why we started a space festival in the first place. In El Paso and in Las Cruces, we are in an excellent excellent and really exciting just geographic location for seeing rocket launches. There will be some very interesting future astronauts flying into the El Paso airport to either drive out to Van Horn, Texas to fly into space with Blue Origin, or drive all the way out to near Truth or Consequences, New Mexico to fly into space with Virgin Galactic. And we are right here in the center of that. It's going to be an exciting time in the next 10 years.
Okay, your group also offers some citizen science opportunities. Can you kind of give us an idea of what folks can expect with that?
Sure. I personally love citizen science opportunities. I think it's a really powerful experience for a student or a family or an individual to be able to collect data and participate in larger scale science initiatives. One of the recent citizen science programs we just finished was the City Nature Challenge, in which some of the high school students in which we offer environmental leadership programs and other schools and other community members went out and used an app called iNaturalist to go out and just make observations of plants, animals, lichen, anything that's alive within our region. Those observations were then, the photo was taken and uploaded to the iNaturalist app, and artificial intelligence program within the app allowed the person who took the photo to better identify what it was, and then experts went in and took that geographic location and the picture and helped the user make a specific identification as to what that was. And so that went into part of a national, if not global, initiative to collect information about biodiversity.
I saw that you also are involved with this program to learn more about the extreme heat we tend to experience in our region.
Yes, we did just complete a couple of different initiatives about heat mapping and especially collecting stories. Our climate is changing here in the border region, and we can look at temperature data, we can look at shade availability, we can look at rainfall, and we can measure those variables. But one of the overlooked variables in the story of climate change in the border region are just the stories and the personal observations from citizens here in the border region. Noticing a climate variation one year to the next, or maybe how a changing temperature has impacted or affected you personally. Maybe you can no longer comfortably go to your favorite camping spot at a certain time of year or your favorite holiday because of a climate shift, or maybe it's affected the way that you garden or other aspects of your life. And so those were a big part of the stories that we were collecting with that initiative.
It's very fascinating. I want to hear from you, though, with this hands-on learning opportunity that you provide, not only students throughout El Paso and the border region, but also adults. What are some of those things that you're learning, or what are some things that we know through research or data that shares how that hands-on learning can spark interest in the STEAM fields?
Sure. I mean, think back to, educational experiences. For students, you don't have to think back. You're in a part of it right now. For adults, think back to learning experiences you had maybe in grade school or high school. Think about the activities you did where you were sitting and in a lecture and listening to a concept and what you pulled from that. And then think about maybe some of the activities you did in a chemistry or a biology lab where you were there, you were actually synthesizing a new chemical, or you were maybe dissecting a frog for the first time. And think about which of those memories you experienced and how those activities actually impacted you. And what we've learned just with firsthand experience in offering our programs, as well as with a body of wider educational research, is hands-on activities. They do a lot more for learning than just sitting and statically learning about something. So that has been a huge focus of the programming that we're providing at Insights.
There's been a lot of reporting about the need to fill STEM-focused jobs in our country and in our region. So how do you think an organization like yours can play a role in that?
Absolutely. One of the biggest focuses and one of the reasons behind why we do what we do is to expose students to a variety of different concepts in STEM education and careers and jobs and connections to what happens after high school and how you get into some of those jobs. Just at a fun and a friendly level, at an initial exposure, doing a simple activity that utilizes very simple concepts in coding or robotics, or launching a rocket for the first time to learn about, space education and propulsion. Having a fun and accessible initial entry point into a STEM activity or concept, I think is a really it's a really crucial first step to exposing students to these concepts, so that they can perhaps join the rocketry club in high school or join the coding club and learn about some of the really usually pretty well developed career and technical education opportunities that are now available through a number of our different district partners.
Now, some of our audience members may be wondering what they're going to do for their birthday and figuring out plans for that, or for their kids. You offer something for that.
Yes, we just launched our Mad Scientist birthday program. We have been getting requests for this program for probably about 5 years now, and we'd been planning it prior to the pandemic, which delayed a bit of our activities and planning, but we now have a full birthday party program available. So if you are interested in having our STEAM team and our master educators come to a restaurant or your backyard and provide a fun, hands-on round of activities for your kids and their friends to have a STEAM birthday party, we can absolutely provide that. Just visit our website, insightselpaso.org. Let us know the details for the party, and we will get you set up with a full STEAM birthday party experience.
Well, it sounds like a fun way to learn and enjoy yourself as well, and celebrate something special. Meghan Parks is Executive Director of Insights in El Paso. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us.
Thank you very much, Anthony.
And we want to thank you for joining us for another episode of Fronteras, a Changing America. I'm Anthony Murnau. We'll see you next time.